Survey reports the British also began a practice of conducting survey, survey, revenue survey, land survey, and many other types of survey are also conducted. Mapping was an important part of this survey. The British had a large number of topographic maps. Topography map क्या होती है? Census operation also began. All these reports are available to us. केसरी न्यूज़पेपर कौन सी लैंग्वेज में है? तो केसरी जो न्यूज़पेपर है वो मराठी लैंग्वेज में है एंड मराठा जो है वो इंग्लिश लैंग्वेज में है. Also, many people are aware of this re-engagement of the British when the national movement was at its peak. The British tried to suppress the press. However, they were unsuccessful because we will study the history of the last 250 and 2 to 300 years. This period is generally regarded as the modern 253 years तक का modern periods में ऐसा काउंट होता है. The modern period in India is associated with the struggles of the British colonial rulers and the fight we put up against it. We will study socio-cultural changes that came about in India under the influence of the British. We will read about this, the rise of nationalism in India, which ultimately led to the India becoming a free nation. We will also see the development that have taken place since then and how they have impacted our process. And this chapter have to study about changes that occurs in the modern period. Chapter number 2. Explain. Expansion of the British power. You have read in previous classes that since ancient times India was an important trading center. Merchants and traders from the Europe and Asia also come to India regularly. The frequency of the trade increased in the medieval periods. The Indian rulers also supported their states as it was very profitable for them. Trade till the early 17th century was carried on by individual merchants and traders, as they did not always have backing of their respective countries in course of time. This changed. The European countries began to form trading company to trade with the East. One of them was the English East Indian Company. It was started by a group of merchants in 1600. Queen Elizabeth first gave a charter which granted the company the exclusive right to trade with the East. Company from Portugal, Holland, England, France, and Denmark to begin set up their base in India. They established their trading center in different parts of the country, especially in the coastal area. The companies which come from Portugal, Holland, England, France, and Denmark, they set up their base in India and the coastal area because they are easy because these centers were called factories. The presence of numerous trading companies weighing for goods such as spices, paper, cloves, cardamom, trade rivalry, the presence of numerous companies, the presence of numerous trading companies vying for goods such as spices, paper, cloves, cardamom, cinnamon, silk, indigo, saltpeter, and so on, led to intense rivalry among them. All of them wanted to buy these goods at low prices in India and sell them at a very high price, particularly particularly in Europe. Since profit from trade war. Each European country paid for a greater share of this trade. However, the little by little, the profit earned by them began to sink. The only way to increase profit was by eliminating competitor and ensuring a trade monopoly. East India Company get a monopoly, got monopoly to ensure a trade monopoly. The companies which had the support of their respective governments set out to do just that. They built their own armies and were not averse to using force to achieve their goals. In course of time, the Portuguese and the Dutch and the Dane were ousted from the Indian trade. The English and the French became the key players, dominating trade between India and Europe. Anglo-French rivalry. Anglo-French rivalry. Anglo-French rivalry. The presence of two traditional rivers and the clash of trade interests between the two led to a series of wars. This war was commonly known as Carnatic War. Since most beautiful, most battle war fought in the regions within the present state of Tamil Nadu. The English and the French class twice in the Carnatic. There was the war lasted for hello. English and the French clashed twice in a Carnatic. The war lasted for nearly 20 years, 1740 to 1763. Carnatic war जो English and French को 3 बार clash हुए. This सालों तक war between 1744 to 1763. After this, the French ceased to be a strong political force in India. Their way was clear for the establishment of the British power in India. The British in Bengal. In the early 17th century, the East India Company was merely a trading body. It sent requests to the Mughal Emperor for the trade concession and privilege. After East India Company sent requests to the Mughal Empire for trade concession and privilege after the death of the Aurangzeb. The Mughal Empire became weak. Talking advantage of the official of the company began to intensify their operation in the Bengal, the richest of the Indian province. In Bengal, the richest of the Indian province in in to import and export goods without paying customs duty.
सेटअप ही नहीं हो रही है मोबाइल। Fortification in Kolkata, now Kolkata. The company refused to do so, so the Nawab sent his troops and occupied the company factory in Kolkata. The British after they decided to depose Sirajul Dowlah, install a cooking Nawab in this place. This led to a war. Battle of Plassey 1857, Battle of Plassey 1757, Battle of Plassey कब हुआ 1757, Battle of Plassey हुआ था अब प्लासी कब हुआ था 1757 में Battle of Plassey हुआ था Battle of Plassey 1757 में हुआ था और 23 जून 1757 23rd June 1757 23rd June 1757 Battle of Plassey हुआ था the armies of the Sirajul Dowlah the army of the Sirajul Dowlah the army of the Sirajul Dowlah English East India Company ने क्या था प्लासी वो प्लासी वॉर कब हुआ था बैटल ऑफ प्लासी प्लासी जो बैटल ऑफ प्लासी
बैटल ऑफ प्लासी कब हुआ था? 23 जून 1757 में बैटल ऑफ प्लासी हुई थी. On 23rd June 1757, Battle of Plassey. The armies of Siraj Udaulah and the East India Company met at Plassey. The British forces were led by Robert Mirzapur, the commander in chief of the Nawab, and a large section of the loyal to Mirzapur did not pick off Bengal also refused to help the Nawab Siraj